Okay, ladies and germs. Actually, I should bring that over here because this is how I'm going to be seeing any chats that come in from whoever chooses to tune in. Now, last time, this was my second I mean, the first attempt at streaming this evening was unfortunately aborted because um, Unity was just locking up. It basically locked up on me. And I think it's because perhaps quality settings are not set properly. So you got to bear with me for a moment while we get this settled. Come on, project settings. Oh, well, I don't know how long we're gonna wait. We shouldn't have this much stuff. I mean, let me just check my memory. What's going on here? Because I know I. No, what the hell? Yeah, I think Unity is unfortunately set to ultra, and I got to do something about that. Be right back. All right, hello. Thank you for the person who tuned in. Your patience, I appreciate it. I am back. I don't doubt you're probably going to be gone, but by the time another report comes in, but thank you. Um, Hello, good evening. Um, what I'm doing right now this evening is, like I said, mail. Yeah, it's set to ultra. That's why it was locking up. Stupid. Why is it always good? I always hey, gotta learn. Mm. But to our one viewer, hello, good evening. It's a beautiful day here in Portland, Maine, and I would really love to have gotten out this evening, gone to an island, caught a ferry somewhere. But duty calls, if you'll pardon the phrase, and if you want to laugh at the word duty, please do. Anyway, uh, yeah, I got to figure out a few things. Well, as I said at the outset of the first live cast I attempted a few minutes ago, the the guy that I told to do mailboxes around town only did about, it seems, about half of those, and we need to go around and just find those places that don't have them and make them. So, because it's a matter of realism and it's a matter of it's just something that's very important to me. Details, details, details. Um, so that's what we're doing, is turning off our gizmos as well. Yeah, here we are. Yeah, this is much more responsive than it was before. Boy. Okay. So let's see. Actually, we were on the back shore, right here. And yeah, the old trading post did not have a. Let's see. There we go. And old trading post. And by the way, this is the old trading post, that building itself. The old trading post was actually built over here, and it burnt down many, many moons ago. These guys, I think they collect their mail downtown. They can't be bothered with that. Um, so really, let's see. I know this house has its mailbox. It should, because it was so iconic and important. Actually, where is it? Hold on. The mailbox with a leg is gone. Holy crap. That was an important piece of story. And it's been removed. What the hell? Goodness gracious God. That's huge. Okay. It was honey badger. Yeah, honey badger. And let's see, Sugar Cat or whatever it is. But and it also looks like we have a little bit of duplicate lighting in a few places. I may want to take a look at that. Okay, these guys have no mailbox. Hunting cabin. And I don't believe the anywhere over in the Ellison area has a mailbox at all. It is shocking to me that this stuff. They would just have a mailbox propped up on top of one of these rocks. You know, they wouldn't be too particular about something like the U.S. mail. Let's see. And yeah, we already had this house. So now we got to just check these guys down over here. Oh yeah, the Jordan. She needs her mailbox right there, and it should be something very creative. Yeah. And yeah, by the way, it is kind of crazy, but you know, we know where everybody. Of course, we have to know where everybody lives. Oh, and these guys, yeah, they'd have a mailbox, but there's one. So really, the Greenwood. It is shocking that that mailbox with a leg in it was gone, because it's well, it's just very important. It is a piece of island life that we sought to replicate. And yeah, okay, Harbor Master's house, Vet's house, both are without. It would be, I know the church. I don't think the I think they collect. Oh yeah, the writer's house. Yeah, he has no mailbox. So tell me, R1 viewer, if you're not a bot, tell me where you're from. Unless, hey, I mean, I know maybe my mother's tuning in and she doesn't. She just was like, hey, I'll watch. I'll just stay quiet. Goodness. All right, so yeah, the yellow house, downtown yellow. It looks like all three of these houses. No mayor's house has it, but these two, okay. And I bet none of these, yeah, none of these have them either. So really, none of the architecture in the central block have mailboxes. Nothing downtown, that's important. Nothing outside of like those couple of bungalows. Jesus. Oh man. Hi James. You're in London, correct? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, you're just watching me encounter another unfortunate fact. You know, apparently a lot of stuff wasn't created. But you know, right now I'm waiting for a few things to be done. First off, we need our like revised fur texture map done, and hopefully we'll have that in a couple of days. And also I'm trying to get the zoom ins on you know, readable, like if you encounter a document and you know, come up to it and you click E, how the camera zooms in and so you can view it. And I wanted to do that, but it didn't seem to work when I got it into our scene. So I'm waiting some feedback on that. And also, I haven't streamed in a few days. I felt the need to do so. Yeah. Oh, 2 hours west of London. 2 hours by car, 2 hours by, you know, tube, 2 hours by train, you know. You guys over there are lucky to have a great rail network, you know. Well, I know you know, I read Viz comics enough to and you know, follow British politics enough to know, you know, British rail isn't everything it could be. And I know they got their problems, but compared with what we have here in the United States, Amtrak, oh, it's such a joke. It's such a joke what we have. So really, the first thing we need to do, guys, by the way, we need to replace. I can't even mention whose leg it is, but like I said, the leg is gone. There for years. The mailbox had a leg in it, and it's gone, and it infuriates me and confuses me. Why? What happened? Why are they gone? And also, why do we have some duplicate lighting? I'm going to see what if I could just get rid of those while I'm over in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes mistakes are made, But yeah. But it's kind of infuriating when I just start going through the world and I'm like, yep, nothing has a mailbox. I was let down again. You know, I have to constantly remind myself that for the most part, the majority of the people that we hired were honest, good, hardworking people. But god dang it, there are just some people that for the entire time I could just tell no, they never gave a crap. Never gave a crap. I paid them. They consistently underperformed. They screamed abuse at me and blah, blah, blah. I know I should get over. I should just move on. Yeah. But still just infuriating. Every time I come across a job that was either not done or really badly, I mean, I have to go back to some of these guys and ask, are you sure you want your name associated? Because people are going to ask us what kind of job you did. And I'm sorry, but I mean, if you came, it's like some of these guys just came and used our toilet, used our urinal as a toilet for about, almost for about a year, and just, anyway, it's just, my goodness. Doesn't anybody take pride in their work anymore? I mean, anyway, I'm going to shut up. Whoever's by car. Okay, so you guys finally went over to the kilometers and such. I know in the United States, I think it's you can go 65 thereabouts nowadays. And look at this. What happened here? Oh, I know what happened. I screwed up. And there's no way of fixing that other than reverting this one cell. Damn it. No. No. Actually, no, we're good. We're good. We're good, right? I think we're very good. We're going to give this a try. We're going to just bake it. We're going to bake these objects, give it a try. By making a new workbench scene to make absolutely sure that we're working with a clean thing. So what we're going to do first is open up Peace Island Exterior and save this. And we're going to create something called Veg Studio 23, which is going to be the next working. Yeah, okay, excellent. Good for you. I mean, I understand, like the rest of the world, looking at the United States and going, oh, why don't you guys use the metric system? Actually, our military uses the metric system. Most of our commerce in the United States is done by the metric system. We just, have it on our street signs. That's it. And the United States was based on the whole concept of like, we're going to go our own way, even though it may be completely insane. We're going to do this because there's this great phrase that I mean, I cannot find it again, but there was a diplomat who visited England, and he was describing the contemporary British, lower classes, and he said some very deprecating things, but he also said the Englishman so prizes their liberty that they would rather walk in a filthy, dung-filled ditch rather than the beautiful sidewalk that had been created just for them right next to that. And I think the United States, I mean, maybe that's the way it was in England at the time, several hundred years ago, but that's the way, unfortunately, it's always been in the United States. There are so many people who would rather just because, hey, it's freedom. I'm gonna walk through that pigsty, and you can't tell me. Anyway, it is. We are who we are. So, what I have to do now, unfortunately, and this is going to be kind of again, we have to sit and wait. I have to import all of our sectors, so that they can work afresh. So what we do is import, create this, and bloody blah. So anyway, we're going to get off the subject of like imperial versus that. I try to stay away from politics and stuff. I should just talk about the game and all, but man, I no, I won't even go into this whole like Russian thing that's going on because I think 90% of the entire world media have it wrong. I'm not an Alex Jones fan. It's just that I see something that's so apparent right before my eyes, and it seems that nobody else seems to get it, even though it's right there. And I could just be pointing at it and going, don't you see that big red splot on the wall there that's 3 feet wide? And they're like, no, but I see some color and it's in a rough shape. And what does that mean? And I'm like, no, it's a red spot on the wall. You see, And I don't know the whole international politics thing. I mean, here's what's happening, guys. And I mean, you could take this to the bank. Um, this whole thing between Prigozhin and Putin was a show for the world's media, and it was a way for the Wagner troops to move from that disputed area down in the southeast up to Belarus, from which they could launch a northern offensive. And this is going to happen within a few weeks, or days, or weeks. We'll see how long. But people are slowly coming around to understanding that this is what's happening, but it's taking them a while. There's still so many people going, "Oh my goodness, what does this mean? What could it possibly mean? The Russian coup?" And I mean, no, no. I mean, there's this there are two great lines about no one great line in that I have to really talk about right now, and it's that hunt for Red October, and where they're sitting and they're discussing all these people, on the aircraft carrier. They're going, the general, he might be doing this, the Soviet government might be doing this, and Fred Thompson, he just walks in there and he goes, "What's their plan?" And they say, "Plan?" They say, "Russians don't take a dump without a plan." And you don't, I mean, all this stuff about, oh, they didn't know what was going on. Oh my goodness, this was so surprising. No, no. Again, I don't need to look at the map. It's right there. And also understand Prigozhin's advance stopped toward Moscow, precisely stopped at the turn in the major highway on the M4. If they turned left, they would go straight to Belarus. Strangely enough, they stopped right there and decided, oh, it's not worth going. It's right there, folks. Anyway, my goodness, it's still loading. Oh, man. But hey, what can we talk about the game? We should talk about the game. One of the things that we've gotten working now, if you have not read yesterday's update on our Patreon, we finally got the quest engine working, to the point that, we have a cat leading the player from one point to another, stopping for a conversation. We just wanted to be able to have that first external mission be, a follow the leader sort of mission, where you'd learn, here's how I can jump, here's how I can climb, here's how I can get up, here's how I get down, etc., etc. And along the way, you'll have short conversations. Here we go. With the other character, the captain, that will go, this is what this is, this is what this is. And we thought that was something that should have been done years ago. But again, I keep on having to go back and say, listen, we brought us to people and they just didn't care. I won't go into it, but essentially, we could not get so much done until we had the player controller done. And the battle to get the cat player controller done is a drama that started in early 2020 and did not end until early 2022, because along that way we just had one person after another abandon us with the job half done, lead us along the wrong way, do a crappy job, etc., etc. And really, I want to have all the animations done again before this is, released into final beta. Because, we started off with an animator who worked on Grand Theft Auto 5. That was the first animator that we had. In the end, and I created the character controller as best I could. That was the best we had until we brought on one person after another who just did one bad job after another. And here's the thing: you cannot do so much of an open world game until you understand fully how the cat moves, how the cat is going to react when, for example, they reach the end of a curb. What is the optimal way for it to for you to construct a ramp for it? What is the optimal staircase build? We could not do any of that until the character controller was done. And all of this time, oh my goodness, the frustration. But let me tell you, again, I always have to say, a little bit over a year ago, I just got sick of these jerks, and I made I made a last-ditch advertisement. And man, this guy, it was one of these things where you think, man, the simulation is working, because this guy was born to code. I mean, this guy, he created 3 games on his own. And what kind of frustrates me about the guy, and it's the only thing that really frustrates me, is that he's one of these guys. He creates a game, perfect. He could release it on Steam tomorrow, and it's not perfect. Well, I'm saying it's not perfect, but it's acceptable. You could put it on Steam, and it would be better than 90% of the offerings up there. But he's always like, "Oh no, man, the market's moved on from this. I need to work on this new project." And he moves on to another project, gets it to 90% finished, and then he's like, "Oh no, man, yeah, I'm not into that anymore. I need to start on a new project because the market's changed." And makes one game after another, but he never gets it out, and it's sort of frustrating. It is yeah, it's very frustrating, because I've known cartoonists like that, people who are just so inherently skilled, just so very skilled, and can kick so much ass, and they're just like, they're self-sabotaging and self-doubting to the extent that it's just so frustrating. Because I would love to be able to code like this guy. I swear to goodness, he probably came out of his mother coding. Not to be vulgar. And by the way, let's just see here, because what I want to do is I want to isolate the mailbox by itself, because this is sort of like going to be a creative exercise, actually, because I out on the islands, people, they like to express their creativity in so many ways, and one of the things that they do is every house does have a very unique mailbox. Can I separate this? I may have to. Oh, yeah, no, I'm gonna have to take this into Blender and just isolate that by itself. It's gonna be no problem. Heck, you got to do what you got to do. So export to FBX. And so anyway, no, nobody's saying anything, guys. Any guys and gals, if anybody has anything they want to talk about, please, speak up, because if not, I'm just going to continue talking about nonsense and stuff. No, not nonsense. I'm just going to continue just freewheeling it here, man. Somebody give me a subject, a location, and whatever. Yeah, I'm an improv troupe, the world's worst improv troupe. Artist. Let's see. We're gonna call this mailbox B. That's good. And now we're good. I will say, I have gotten to respect Blender on a certain level, and that out of all of the 3D platforms I've worked with, it is the most economic as far as memory goes, as far as performance. It's very speedy and very good at that, and I mean, I can see why. I mean, it's better than 3ds Max. I mean, much faster than 3ds Max and Maya in many regards. But anyway, I mean, I used to hate it, but I'm slowly learning it, because to me, its interface is just so bizarre. It's so alien. But the way I've always learned these things is I just start with something that's very simple. Like, okay, I need to move this pixel, this point or something from here to there. And I notice a lot of people tuned out, probably because I'm eating peanuts and like stuff is flying out of my mouth. Anyway, and I should put on like music in the background too. But oh boy, I lost my train of thought. Blah blah blah, Eric. All right, let's see here. I totally admit I am not the most exciting of narrative. So one. Oh, come on. There we are. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forget. You got to turn on the X-ray. It's just, yeah. It's just all these little things. You just, and I guess it's sort of like moving to a foreign country and just getting used to like the way that bills are handled there and such. I don't know. My goodness, it's unlike anything I've ever seen before. It makes absolutely no sense. They use these weird kilometer things here. My goodness, these barbarians. And what? Oh, by the way, I have to go back to that thing about Prigozhin, and what I mean. Well, I just had to comment and just say, state the obvious. This is what's happening, and it was just really fantastic that I got these responses on YouTube to my response, because I'm such an internet maverick, and they were like, "Oh yeah, Dmitry Prigozhin said specifically he wasn't going to do that." Oh yeah, I get it. Yeah. You see, this is why the uh, uh, that's your source of information. He's definitely going to remember. I mean, there's that old saying: the first casualty of war is the truth. It's just so true in this thing. Well, hey, again, in a couple of weeks when there is that offensive from Belarus, it'll be interesting to see how many like news agencies are going to be going. Oh well, I guess this is why that coup. I mean, we were snowed about, or they're going to go. You know, I don't think this had General. Did this have anything to do with the coup that we witnessed about a month ago? Oh no, absolutely not, Wolf. I mean, come on. And yeah, I mean, all the Western agencies are like, how come Putin is just continuing his job like normal and like nothing ever happened? Because from his perspective, and from Prigozhin's perspective, nothing really did happen. Yes. Oh my goodness, I've lost all viewers. That's fantastic. I'm just going to go on about that because I lost all viewers. Hey, that's great. Because you see, and by the way, I am not pro-Russian. I am not pro-Russian in any way. I'm just saying this is the way things are, and it's just trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, all viewers are gone. Oh, that's fine. Let's see here. Okay, yeah. Oh. It looks like we did actually lose some of our geometry. That's not good. Let's just go back to where we were here. Ah, there we go. Let's just get rid of those bit by bit. A little bit easier this time. But anyway, well, hey, I'm just going to continue with that because what can you do when you've already lost all viewers? I mean, heavens, where do you go from there? All right, let's see here. And it's fine. I mean, again, it's fine because that's all the new people are. But it is going to just really suck for years because I don't see the war ending anytime soon. And also understand that yeah, the Ukraine, I'm sorry, Ukraine and many of the, oh, we got a viewer back. Hello, hello. Don't go away. I need to go and get myself a beverage. Please don't go away because I lost all my previous viewers by talking about international politics and the war in in Ukraine, and I don't want to have that happen again. So let me eat a little bite off of me sausage and grab myself another glass of cheer, and I will be right back with you. Okay, and we can talk and get this done. All right. Sorry. Oh, hello, Slaunch, and thanks for hanging out, sticking with me. Yeah, I just wanted to get this. It looks like that rotation is just right. 0. And get that at 90%. 90. And that's awesome. Great. We have our root mailbox now that we now have to, create. Because, again, out on the islands, people, they express themselves the way they express themselves. And actually, if I moved out to one of these islands in Casco Bay, I could imagine myself getting very much into gardening. Uh, I'm looking forward to, by the way, in a couple of days. No, on Wednesday of next week. No, Tuesday. Is the 4th of July here in the United States, and I'm planning on going out and visiting Cliff Island. And oops, wrong one. Sorry. Um, I'm looking forward to just being able to go out there and visit again. I've not been there out that way in a while. All right, there we go. All right, so now we have our generic mailbox. Fantastic. Fantastic. Oh, we need to center it. Go. Sorry, excuse me. So, I've heard the new Indiana Jones movie really is awful. I think that they probably, I mean, really, Harrison Ford was probably on like some Greek island somewhere, just going, "Oh my goodness, it's so great to soak my tootsies in the Mediterranean and, you know, grow gracefully and or whatever." And he's like, and then whoever it is, Spielberg's like, "Hey, time to one. Want to do one more movie? Hey there." And goodness gracious, just please let the guy go into Indiana Jones and the and the non-eventful restful retirement. That's the movie he wants to Harrison Ford wants to see, and I think most of us want to see too, because I feel sorry for the guy every time they trot him out. And yeah, I mean, yeah, he's in other movies, et cetera, and old people could continue working. But I mean, he himself said, listen, you need to retire this character with dignity. And I mean, I grew up with Indiana Jones. I mean, what was the first one? Was it the Temple of Doom? That was the second one. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Oh my God, I saw that so many times when I was a kid, and I didn't even understand the deeper thing about it being the revenge fantasy, etc. No, I mean, if you don't understand, if you do not know, it was intentionally a revenge fantasy of Lucas's, no, Spielberg's against Nazis. He said, I want to make a movie where, somebody kills a shit ton of Nazis. And to which I have to say, good on you. Um, and but, I mean, before anybody like screams and yells, oh my goodness. I mean, number one, it's not social justice warrior to say that Nazis are bad people. And especially, can I say, in my case, because let me see, do I still have that piece of paperwork out? Uh, let's see. Actually, let me just show you. It's up here. No, it looks like I. Oh no, here they are. I mean, I'm totally in favor of all the games where you go out and you shoot as many Nazis as possible. And I mean, literally, here is an artifact from my family's history. Does that come up? I'm hoping you can see in the lighting. I mean, whenever I'm playing one of those games, I'm like, my goodness, if I'm shooting the Nazis, I might be shooting one of my relatives there. But uh, I'm still in favor. If you need a generic bad guy, make him a Nazi. Yeah, you can have a little bit more, nuance in it. Too. But again, I mean, Lucas, no, Spielberg was going for, the old 1930s black and white, good and swashbuckle. So, and again, how old is Harrison Ford right now? And by the way, anybody who's like watching this in the future, the one or two people who will, maybe, and I'm going to put on some music in the background, by the way. It's really, I'm just like floundering here. Maybe if there's some music people who want to listen more. Let's see. I mean, if you've not seen, oh my goodness, what is it? Jojo Rabbit. That is a fantastic movie as far as like handling Nazis as well. That showed them every bit as evil as they are, but also as insane as they were in a humorous way. You know, mm. And anyway, Nazis are bad, okay? And back when I ran a political website that was like against the war in Iraq, I used to get a lot of things. Oh, Blumreich, I bet you definitely with that Jewish name. Oh, well, there again, it shows you. My father was Catholic. My mother was Southern Baptist. Let's see. So we're going to create a new scene. First, we're going to go to our stuff and bring our mailbox in. I was raised with absolutely no religion whatsoever. And, it really, because I grew up down south, maybe, and I did attend a few church services and saw a few of those in my lifetime, I did hear the stories my entire life. Believe it or not, I don't think really became a true, skeptical, agnostic atheist until I turned about 42. It took me, I mean, ironically, for those Douglas Adams fans out there, but it took me a while to really here's the thing is I have absolutely no problem with people who do believe and understand. I mean, when I call myself an agnostic atheist, I'm not up on the whole like atheist community, but apparently they do have like these monikers that they give themselves, sort of like the the sex and the asexual romantic adjacent, and I in that I'm an atheist agnostic, and that I let me tell you, I'm open to the idea, and it would let me tell you, I would say I'd be the first person in the world that would be go, man, that is the most awesome story ever told. Aside from all the war, genocide, and craziness that happens in the Bible, but my goodness, that's true. That is absolutely amazing. It blows my mind, and we live in an absolutely amazing universe. If indeed it was all controlled by somebody like that, but I just, as I say, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And I am open to seeing evidence. I just have not seen anybody provide evidence. And bless those people who do say, I don't need evidence. I feel it in my heart, my brain, my soul, whatever. Fantastic. Good on you. And to a certain extent, I kind of wish I had that ability to be that way. Because, I mean, and I need to create a version of this with the door swung outward for the leg too. So, dang it, I need to do that. Maybe we already have that in there. Let me go to. But yeah, prefab. Here we go. Let's see. I just again, yeah, extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof, and I've just not seen any extraordinary proof. And there are some people who say, "Oh, you don't understand. I feel if you just open your heart or whatever." And I'm like, "Well, if anybody's opening my heart, that means they're a surgeon, like doing. I don't get what you're getting at. Oh, it's metaphorical. Well, if we're dealing, God, oh, jeez. I think that if oh yeah, God works in mysterious ways. But I mean, if there were a God, honest to goodness, why doesn't he, she, it just kind of go, hey, I'm up here. This is what I'd like for you to be. If you are my creation, please behave this way, and etc. etc. And yeah, oh, he did. He sent us the book. Okay. I think that's called sophistry, or whatever it is, where they say that something existing validates something's existence, and I no. It's like, for example, and I mean no argument against Islam in this. In fact, I mean I have respect for all religions. Just I have respect for many ideologies. Fascism, I just don't, because heck, we tried it and it sucks. Let's see. Yeah, there was a comedian, and he had a good joke about what the marketing slogan for fascism it would be, and it was like, fascism. Let's see what happens. And I mean that's pretty much all these kids, these idiots, these Proud Boys, and I mean they are straight up idiots. I don't get them where they're like, oh yeah, let's look back at history. Benito Mussolini, oh yeah, that's how he ended. Adolf Hitler, that's how he ended. Yukio Mishima, that's how he ended. But he meant it to end that way. You don't understand. All of these fashion, they all end this way. And for some reason, they're like, hey, let's see what happens, guys. Let's try this. Dust off this old idea and give it another try. No, come on, guys, come on. Come on, if we put our ingenuity to it. Oh, you said the same thing about communism. All right. So we have our second mailbox here, the leg mailbox. So, to our 0 viewers, what do you think about fascism? Let me know in the comments. I think we should give it another try. I think it's pretty awesome. I hear they make the trains run on time. And I think they actually found out that was recently a total myth, that actually the trains in Italy ran just every bit as flawed as they did. He didn't do much to improve that. The fascists couldn't even do that. So, we want a mailbox D. I'm going to see, I'm going to see if I can get something other than In the Nursery. They're always a little bit too, oh goodness, yeah. Oh God, no, this. They did one of the worst. I really love this band called In the Nursery, but they also did one of the worst covers of Joy Division's Love Will Tear Us Apart Again. And I just hate hearing people do bad covers of that song. It's one of my favorite songs. from because I'm a child of the '80s. It was that I was born in 1970. By the way, I'm 53 years old, and if anybody asks me, do I feel 53? Absolutely not. I feel like 30 something. I guess it's mostly because I know I don't own a car. I eat relatively healthy. I walk everywhere, and so I'm not like Joe Rogan. I'm not gonna. And some people, I understand, they don't live in a place where they can do everything by foot, and there's some people because of infirmities and they can't. And I do not want to belittle anybody who has that, because trust me, before I even know it, when I'm 85 and I feel like I'm 50, something's going to happen where I break my hip, and that's going to be the big reminder to slow down. It happened to my grandfather, and I mean that's when it went just like. Except I remember we had, what was it, John Pop. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking. I need to focus on my work. I'm sorry. Edit. Yeah. Put. Oh, I think Pope John Paul broke his hip about 5 times in the shower back in the day. And by the way, Pope John Paul kind of okay in my book, but I like Francis better, far better. And I mean, geez, again, you expect a man to lead by example, and I mean, when I saw him out there washing the feet of homeless AIDS patients, okay, there you go. That's what you do. That is leading by example. And yes, Pope John Paul did many of the same things, but also he was just a wee bit too conservative for my blood. But then again, I'm not a Catholic, so I have no right to discuss that any more than I have to write, the conference of rabbis, and by the way, as crazy as history is and such, that piece of family history I showed off earlier, I guarantee you, while that's true, I guarantee you I had some friend, some of my relations were at the local synagogue and were unfortunately on the other end of all of that. It's absolutely unfortunate, History sometimes is very sad, but thankfully, what happened is um, I recently learned this is a trick. My grandfather was brought to the United States because he worked with Werner von Braun. I don't know his history back in Germany, but I know when he came to the United States, he came specifically to Huntsville, Alabama, to visit to work at that very famous unfortunate place. No, Huntsville, Alabama, very unfortunate place. To those who are watching Huntsville, Alabama, you know what I'm talking about. But no, I don't think my grandfather ever worked at Peenemünde, which, if you're not aware, is like a very, very notorious, basically a slave labor camp where they built V2 rockets and stuff. And anyway, but I know he worked with Werner von Braun. Anyway, and yeah, and Werner von Braun. It is kind of ironic because really Werner von Braun, um, Peenemünde, the place that he ran, should be ranked up there with Auschwitz and Treblinka and all of the other horrible, I mean, all the other horrible places in World War II. But we ignore it and literally go down Huntsville, Alabama, and half the stuff in Huntsville is named after the guy. And the guy, I mean, I don't know about his politics, but I know what he did for the Third Reich. And that guy, I mean, I quite frankly think he should have served, at least been tried for war crimes. Mm. But if you go down to Huntsville, Alabama, again, I mean, they've changed a few of them, but everything down there was Werner von Braun. He was a local hero down there. Now, my first number one job again was to recreate the mailbox with the leg inside, and I just realized retroactively I kind of screwed something up. But you know what? We can do this again. It's totally cool. Let's see. Sorry. And we have a mailbox. I'm going to call this mailbox F. yeah, what we want. Yeah, so actually, I can file import. So anyway, we could talk about things other than like Nazis and crap. That would be Hey, Eric, you're in control of the conversation. You could stop talking about Nazi. Good point. I totally could. Should totally. And now that I'm thinking about it, oops, wrong thing, wrong thing. What I have to do here is actually, man, it is hot. By the way, well, it's muggy here. It's not so much hot as just muggy here in Maine right now. Yeah, what I'm trying to do is I need to get all of these polys. Actually, it would be far easier to do them outside. Wow. No, this is just the best way, I guess. But that is how my family came to the United States, is, or at least my father's side of the family came to the United States, is that my grandfather was a rocket engineer. And actually, my other grandfather was a rocket engineer as well. But in World War II, my maternal grandfather was actually just a Marine. He served on Iwo Jima. He was in the Battle of Iwo Jima, and boy, yeah, that was a crazy story. I basically learned. I mean, most if you've ever spoken to what veterans, most veterans are not like Cotton Hill from King of the Hill that take pride in what they did. They don't talk much about what they did in war because really it's nowhere near as glamorous as we would like to think it is. And I mean, I finally learned. I mean, I was always told my grandfather fought in the Battle of Iwo Jima, and sure enough, he was in Iwo Jima. But what happened is number one at that point, the United States was just ignoring anybody who came in and lied about their age. My grandfather was just, he was a kid on an Alabama farm. It was just like, adventure, getting the hell out of here, being able to go to college afterwards, maybe if I survive and whatever. But what happened with him, apparently what happened was after him and his buddies landed on the shore on Iwo Jima. What the heck is going on here? How come I can't move? What's going on? All right, this is annoying. Why is it doing this to me? Sorry, guys and gals. But anyway, what happened was my grandfather, he landed on the shore with his crew. And, if you ever watch Ken Burns' thing about World War II, I mean, one of the unfortunate things you learn about, the D-Day invasion is how, I mean, I think something like 15 tanks with their entire crew were just dropped off, at the wrong place. And they landed in the water. And the entire crew, they basically did what the Titan sub did. How come I can't? Is it snapped? Oh, that's why. Damn you. Yeah, there we are. Yeah, they just sunk to the bottom. And what happened to my grandfather and his bunch is they got on shore. I don't know how many yards inland they got, but from what I understand, uh, they found cover behind a rock because it was every bit as insane as the movies make it. It was just a full-on invasion. And about a couple of seconds, I don't know whether it was minutes or seconds because I didn't feel like asking him. But apparently, the way he described it is, about a couple of minutes is a mortar landed right in the middle of him and his buddies. And all of them were reduced into red paste in a millisecond. And had my grandfather been in a slightly different position, he wouldn't have ever survived either. And from what I understand, after that explosion, he would have been injured and he just had to lie in that spot for like at least a day. I think it may have been 2 days or something like that. But that's what a heck of a lot of war stories are. Is it just like you're commanded to go to a place, and I mean You hope that your commander knows what the heck they're doing. And man, yeah. So yeah, and there were a heck of a lot of other people who fought on Iwo Jima's whose experience was the exact same. I still have my grandfather's Purple Heart, right up there in my thing. Yeah. So I see nobody's watching. No, still nobody's talking. That's fine. Okay, so what we have is that. I think I'm just going to export this whole guy as one by ourselves, so we're good. Yeah. And the thing is, like I said, I mean, that does not diminish my grandfather's service in any way, because let me tell you, when I was his age, there was absolutely no way I would have been able to garner the guts to go and say, yeah, I'm going to join, number one, join up, and number two, I'm going to be a Marine, the toughest mofos on planet Earth, and my goodness, I could never do that. So again, much respect to those who do. And it's stories like that that, again, I mean, to me, refute the image of humanity put forward in Stray, the video game, because again, that game portrays humanity as sort of like very one-dimensional, and that we are only motivated by greed. When my grandfather went out there and at the tender age of 16, lying about his age, going shipped literally a third of the way around to the planet to be put into a meat grinder, he was not motivated by greed. He was motivated by, I mean, so many things that are beyond my understanding. So I mean, again, I mean, that's not a strike against the guys who made Stray, but it is just a much humanity is a much deeper species than just be, oh, we want money. Yes, of course we want money. Yes, very good, writers of Stray. Anyway, um, I mean, there's so many people who are, I mean, literally that thing about Lieutenant Dan in what is it? Forrest Gump. That guy, Lieutenant Dan, his father and his grandfather, there was his family history of them all dying in combat. And that guy, I mean, there are people. I am just such a weak person, I have to say. I don't think I can make it in the Marine Corps. Knowing what I know about their training, I don't think I would have been able to wash it out ideologically. Um, I mean, I know one guy became a Marine, after 9/11, did his job doing, the guard duty in the middle of the sun outside of a military base, et cetera, et cetera. And he came out of that very fatalistic, and I asked him, listen, have you been like reading too many like Mikio Mishima books, or did that come from like the Marine Corps, or have you always been this way? He said, oh no, the Marine Corps. There is just this thing about the Marine Corps. They do train. I mean, they are absolutely correct. They are the first, and they go in screaming into the heart of battle. That's what they are. And again, those are people not motivated by greed. I just do not. I could never understand. And again, people. I mean, I hate to draw parallels. I mean, they're nowhere near alike. But for example, jihadis who go out there and blow themselves up because of something they believe in so deeply. And such. Um, Humanity, I don't know, is a very bizarre and flawed creature. But anyway, I'm just putting this here. Now I need to find that leg. T prefab. Oh, I think I have to have the dummy. Oh, it's all caps. Leg T prefab. Jesus. Leg T prefab. Okay, leg. Here we are. I believe this is it. Nope, it is definitely not what I was looking for. What the heck is that? What I think I did though was I got it off of a what we have is a crash dummy or something. T dummy ragdoll. Yeah, we just pulled that sucker off of there and gave it another setting. Configurable with joints. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay. Yeah, sure. what I really want to do is just grab these things and push them into, grab the pieces that we need and get rid of all the rest. So, geez, it is soggy moist here, guys. Hot. Big dummy. Let me just see. Where do we get to the geometry? Where's the geometry in this hierarchy? What the heck? Excuse me, guys. Yeah. Ah, there it is. Oh boy, this is not the dummy that we had. Do we have a mannequin? Mannequin. We lost the prefab, right? Oh, no, we didn't. This is all we needed, really. Let's get that up there, and let's get the feet. There we go. Oh, we don't have the feet. I'm going to have to reload. Oh, no, we do. So where's the foot? Oh, I see. It's got its pivot way off. Oh, hi, we have 2 viewers now. Hello, hello. And now that we have 2 viewers, I feel really bad because I feel I need to step away and get a cold beverage. Because as you can see, I'm schwitzing like crazy here. I will be back in about 30 seconds, and we can continue this conversation. And to the new viewer, this is a two-way conversation. I'd like to hear if you had any questions or comments or whatever it is about, the game. I will be right back. So, thanks for tuning in. Be right back. We're back. Okay, sorry, right. Wow, it's just blasting right out of there. Let me see if I can put on some music again, because that was lost. And I'm just gonna put on this in the background. Hopefully, it's not too loud. Let's see, making sure my thing. By the way, I've been going for 58 minutes, just like making a few adjustments here. So anyway, and I have to turn down my own volume on this end, and I want to check the audio on this end to make sure. Please let me know if that music in the background is too loud. I'm going to boost my voice just a bit because I don't know how this works, how this sounds. I don't know. Anyway, I forget what I was talking about before I left. Probably nothing really important, but I'm just rambling. Anyway, looky over here. There we are. Perfection. What we want to do now is rotate this. Unfortunately, god dang it, it's all right. For some reason, its pivot is just so far off center. It's just impractically nuts. Yeah, since the very beginning. In fact, let me see if I can find a picture of this. What I'm trying to replicate, and this will just show you a part of the, Let me see, because it's a very. Mm. No, there are no photographs of it. Um, Out on one of the islands, there is a guy that is for years, a few years ago. I mean, really, it's been there for as long as I've been there. Coming to the islands, he put a artificial leg inside of his mailbox, and over the course of years, it has just slowly rotted away and looked more and more bizarre as the years have gone by. And I thought that was just such a brilliant thing because it's out in the middle of the woods too. So it's like that extra little bit spooky. And we included it in the game because it is such a memorable part of like the islands out there. But also, we wanted to integrate it into the story in a way. We're just not adding it. It actually has a purpose to it, and it a whole story about it inside the game. One of many. I mean, let's just say it used to belong to one of the founding fathers, the island, and he lost it, and again, and at least I think, what was it? His adopted grandson lost it in a gambling debt, I think. I forget exactly. Well, I'm gonna have to go back to the project wiki and check, but I think it was his adopted grandson, because all three of his sons died in the Civil War. Because I mean, the reason that Aloysius Ellison inside the game, started his country, tried to secede from the United States in 1820, was he just really could not conscious being part of a country that tolerated slavery. I mean, despite what like revisionists will tell you, it was the great moral issue of the day. And there were many Americans of all stripes who were like, I mean, it was John Brown, for example, jihad level of dedication and belief. And I mean, John Brown did what he did because God was going to strike our nation with such plagues if we continued to have slavery in it. And anyway, a little bit of the back. Let me see, Rusty. Because Rusty. Is that all we have as far as Rust? T. No, material. Yeah, metal rusted. There. Perfect. Yeah. We just want to make it look old. It's, by the time the game takes place, we try to keep it free of, like, historical references. You have to do that because otherwise in game times to come, people are going to be like, oh, this game, it has so much of this, whatever. The jokes don't land or whatever. The story just has no thing. I mean, for a certain while, there's sort of a funny story because, we never really took it seriously. Oh, we lost all of our people. Okay, that's cool. We, let's see, my goodness, I lost my train of thought there. I should just stop looking at who's tuning in because I always lose track of what we're doing here. Anyway. Now, a bit later on, I have to have a conversation. Well, I need to have a conversation with somebody who wants to join the project. All right, this is fantastic. Oh, cancel. I want to move everything as close as I can to 0, 0, 0. So it's just going to be easier to manipulate. And by the way, if anybody tuned in because oh my goodness, I couldn't stand his social justice warrior stuff about slavery. I'm sorry for living in a world where saying slavery is bad is a bad thing. Again, oh goodness, how far we have fallen. Oh, I thought we had free speech. And here's the thing: I am a civil libertarian. I do believe that people have the right to be jackasses and to be white supremacists and all of this. You have the absolute right to be that. But I have the absolute right to be against it as well and go ha ha when somebody chooses that path in life. Because honest goodness, you're gonna spend the rest of your life just angry if you do that. So anyway, alley leg, and put this into its own prefab. But yeah, I should keep up the talking because otherwise it's just going to be bleh. So prefab, yeah. Yep, ollie leg, fantastic. Now I put that inside of that post box that I just placed, and we are back to the way we should be. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to post that on like Facebook or something because it's like I didn't know that it disappeared. It's shameful that it disappeared. Sure, save changes. Don't care about this thing. I want my ollie leg. All right, so, yep, here it is. Yeah. Turn off our gizmos. And, you know, one of the ironies, can I just say, and this is more about history than anything else, to talk about politics. Understand, one of the things that was very, you know, took me a while to understand, you know, is that, you know, Reconstruction was very, very hard for the American South, but it was intended to be that way because Abraham Lincoln, when, you know, during his second term as president, well, he first had Hannibal Hamlin as vice president, but they said, no, he's too anti-slavery. He's a social justice warrior. He just won't shut up about this slavery. So he brought on a pro-union but Confederate sympathizing Democrat as his vice president. And after Lincoln was assassinated and he became president, he said, I'm going to use this opportunity to starve the South. I'm going to make them resent everything that I do. I'm going to make them resent the federal government, et cetera, et cetera. For the next 100 years or so many years, they're going to always resent the federal government. And it was set up to breed that in them. I mean, it's just... And it was done by somebody who sympathized with them. Because he thought, well, you know, if these guys suffer, they'll continue holding these old grudges for decades and centuries to come. Anyway, you know, we've gone up for an hour. I think it's time for me to, I don't know, start working on other stuff. Because really, we've only had a couple of people tune in. That's cool. Problem is I keep on like steering into like international politics and stuff like that rather than I should just keep my mouth shut, but it is what it is. Great, fantastic. So what we're going to do this last thing is we're going to stick this guy right up there where it belongs. It's just strange that it took this long and that it got actually removed. You know, I need to understand I'm not Bosch that can just sit there and just blah, blah, blah about politics all day and make side jokes about, like, masturbating to furry porn. Even though I could tell you, not guilty on that count. No. In fact, jeez, I have a couple minutes left. I could talk about that. No, goodness. Just great. Hey, anybody want to hear, you know, somebody who was there, you know, you want to know exactly what happened in furry fandom back in the day? Things that led to furry fandom and why it has the reputation that it does? Oh, what I could tell you, ladies and gentlemen, there. Boy, that is something I could advertise, you know, and have pay-per-view for, because there's actually a guy out there, and you can find it. He did a movie about like the history of funny animal furry fandom, and he actually has a part in that movie where, in the old-fashioned way, as soon as it shows me the music gets really sinister and the film switches to black and white, and it has me. I mean, it has him showing me telling a joke that I heard from a Jewish comedian, and he's like trying to show me as like some sort of Nazi. The movie is out there. It only got shown in like 43 theaters, and it was made by this guy, by the guy by the name. No, here's the. I could say it was made by a guy by the name of Mark Merlino, but it wasn't. It was made by his just bizarre friends. I forget the names of them, but I mean, I remember seeing screenshots, or production shots of it, because I never saw the movie myself. I just know what it is in it, and yeah, I mean, I saw one of the guys that was behind the movie. I remember when we first met him, when he was living in Mark Merlino's house, and they were like, "Oh yeah, it's that guy." We keep on thinking we should call Child Protective Services. It was just that's the kind of guy. Again, you choose if you want to know me by the people who like want to revile me, etc., etc. Yeah. I'm totally willing to do that. You have again Mark Merlino. Oh my God, jeez, that would be something for a great. Eric Bloomer talks about the history of furry fandom. How would you know? Well, I will tell you because I mean no one else is here, no one's watching this, so I might as well go on. Because back in the day, for after I lived, while I was living out California West Coast, Washington and such. I was I was a classic, teenage, early 20s starving artist. I was living on ramen, sometimes getting on, I got on food stamps for a while. I was living in a tiny little apartment. I had a girlfriend who hated me because I was broke all the time. If you could even call a relationship a girlfriend, boyfriend thing, it was just, but back those days, I used to go to any convention I could to make doleros, all about the dollar bills, and because otherwise I didn't want to live homeless, and so yeah, I went to. I mean, I went to a few conferences, Albany Anthrocon. I think I went to a couple of two times, but I mean, again, that's all ancient history. So, and by the way, we want to put a mesh collider on this mofo. Because right now, it is just not. So what we're going to do is mesh collider, baby. Yes. Now, all right. Now, that is a wonderful thing to see back in place right there. I can't believe it was removed. What evil sabotage was this? But, that's why I need to talk to things. So, gosh, maybe I should say something really, really disgusting and controversial on my way out. And, no. Of course not. I represent the game project. Yes, I'm proud to represent it. And the more I look at this, I'm thinking there should be a remnant of a wall right around there. Not just like a hint of a wall sticking through there. Because there was something else back here at one point. That's why there's that divot. But we won't go into that much of a history. Anyway, so, my goodness, all told, we had 9 views and 1 like. Usually we have more likes, but I think I just I don't know, because I was talking about the Russians war and all that. I don't know. Oh yeah, I think that's what I'll finish on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this up. It's just like a chapter. I'm going to go. Let's see, new. Oh, what? I'm just gonna go. Peace Island work ends here. What we're doing is just go into our create. I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna put on a flashcard and go. Okay. Peace Island. I'm gonna Peace Island talk. Peace Island talk. And here. Okay. Ends here. That's exactly. I'll put this up as like our little chalkboard clacker, so everybody can go. Okay. So what I'm going to show you guys is why I am correct about what's going on in Russia. I mean, it's very simple. Um, let's see here. We have to bring over our map. Let's just take a look at Google Maps, because really that's the quickest way to show you. Yeah, old band 7 Seconds from, back in the early 80s. Or no, late 80s, I think. Boy, Google, you're taking your sweet time. All right. So, here is what happened. When Prigozhin did his quote-unquote coup, he got, I will show you, I believe, this is the exact interchange at which he stopped. Now, again, as I pointed out earlier, that's where you stop to take a left turn into which country? Belarus. Now, right now, Ukraine, and we're going to get this into maybe we make it really simple and get rid of something just like a simple traffic map or something, so we can get rid of terrain with borders. I don't know, but anyway, you see here, right now, all of Ukraine's forces are down here, basically between Kharkiv and this area down here, fighting against the four Ukrainian, the Russian forces in these four Ukrainian, I think they're called oblasts. Now, they are on the spring offensive, and now Prigozhin just moved basically the best troops Russia has right up to this country, right up here, just as Ukraine has all of its troops intensively fighting and gaining ground down here. Now, in a couple of weeks, there's going to be an offensive coming down north. And considering that Prigozhin, with his smaller forces, was able to make it from here to here in the course of about 6 hours, I think with, about 20,000 prison conscripts out of Belarus, if not more, he could definitely make his way to Kiev. And now, during that 6 to 12 hours that Prigozhin is moving down here, Ukraine is going to be trying to figure out, okay, we just spent the last couple of weeks advancing as far as we can in the southeast. Now we got to pull every mile that we push our forces forward during that time, we now have to bring those forces backwards, and that every mile is going to cost time, money, and fuel that is in short supply. So that's what's happening right now. Essentially, there's going to be, again, a northern front opening here. And understand, Belarus has been wanting to enter the war for the longest time. I don't know, Lukashenko has. But his military says no, no, no. But now, again, he has a very good military at his disposal in the form of the Wagner Group. And you could say, oh, Russia defunded those guys and everything. Oh, no, no, no. You understand? Most of that money of the Wagner Group right now comes out of here. They have operations. Let's see. They have drilling rights to over to 100,000 miles of Syria. And if you don't know what that is, that's basically about 45%, about 50% of their country. And the Wagner Group controls one of the few industrial mining operations in Burkina Faso. So all this stuff about Russia is going, oh, we're withdrawing our support and everything. That does not matter as far as all this is concerned. Again, what happened here is, and the reason that Prigozhin did this is under the guise of a coup. It's because, understand, if he had moved the troops into Belarus under any other circumstances, everybody would be going, why is he moving all of his troops? Are they opening up a northern front? My goodness, they should do something. But no. Understand. Because I understand this. I know there are about 50 people in the Pentagon, if not hundreds, and an equal number in Kiev who understand, yes, are about to be invaded from the north. But they are content to let the media just, do things. We do not want to let Russia know that we know what they are doing. You see what, or the citizenry to know. And, most people in the United States don't know where Belarus is in relation to Ukraine. I guarantee you, 95% of the American people don't even know Belarus is right on the northern border of Ukraine. How do we become a superpower? I don't know. But there you go. And you're welcome when this plays out in a couple of weeks. You can be one of those guys who goes, hey, I know why this happened. Nope. Night, guys. Take care.